Welcome, world. I'm Kwhel. Many may know me by different names, which makes sense because I went through many versions of myself to find the one that flows naturally. I was known as LT, aka the Lube, throughout my childhood days rapping. I was into the streets. I felt a love for the block, and I was a bit of a rebel, so it showed in my music at the time. Only knew how to talk about that which I knew and or believed that I would know soon. Me as LT at the time, or the Lou, my little brother Block Burner at the time, now known as Young Drew 407, my little bro Bank Boy, now known as Double G or Dirt, my cousin Creeper, aka Don Losi, my cousin Captain, aka Money Man James, like I say in my song, my cousin Cito, also known as Mario to the family. We stayed in a tight circle of music. Me and Losi started a group together called the FLA Boys in 2005 when we was in 10th grade. We were starting to build our name at school and in our neighborhoods. We had shirts made and everything, a little spray paint, airbrush shirts, and we had our unique way of dressing, similar but different, that would set us apart from anyone else doing it. Losi Pops had a little connect that he wanted to introduce us to, being as he saw that we were adamant about being rappers. So we met with his connection, and we had word that Tommy Boy Records at the time was in search of some new talent. Well, he had us come down to his office location to meet with us and hear us freestyle over a beat he provided. So we did, and it was the start of what was looking to be something big for us. We were booked to perform at the fairgrounds in Orlando, Florida, which was a big deal for us and our reputation at the time, being as we didn't do no marketing. The time of the show was right when Don was getting ready to go out of town or out of state for the family trip that we went on each year, which was something that he was willing to miss out on in order to further our pursuit of music. But on top of that, the most unexpected thing happened. Our high school Colonial had just won a football game, and my homeboy D-Lo scored the winning touchdown. I had spoken to D-Lo at school before the game. We were both excited about meeting up at the teen club at the time called Upper Level. It was somewhere we went every Friday. I mean, we went every single Friday. What could be different tonight? Me and Losi, we went to Shack House after school was out for the summer, and we were recruited into a clique that was supported by the Crips. Our colors was green and black. It was UVB. So we all planned to wear green and black that night. The group had grown so much, it was people out of school that was in our group, grown men. I needed to go by the mall and grab a tall tea if I was gonna go. And as we were leaving Shack House, all of a sudden, I just felt nauseated. I just felt sick, like a nauseating feeling came over me out of nowhere. It was the feeling that one would get like when you see a dead body for the first time or something equally gruesome. I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going tonight. Losi was like, you sure? It's gonna be jumping tonight. We're gonna be deep, everybody going. I told him for some reason, man, I just feel like something crazy gonna happen. Like I got a weird, sick feeling coming over me, man. So on the way home, Losi was trying to reassure me that I would be covered. Maybe it was that I was, didn't have the money, or I was holding out and saving it for something, or whatever it was. He was trying to reassure me that I was good. But I told him I really felt sick and I had a real bad feeling for some reason, and I had to trust my gut. So I stayed home. And the next morning I received the worst news that I could have ever received at the time. Losi called me and sounded like he was sad about something. I knew whatever it wasn't good. He jumped right into it and said that our homeboy D-Lo was dead. We hadn't hit a challenge like this ever in our lives, especially as rappers getting ready to perform right around the corner. We were too emotionally distraught at the time to push through it. This was our first time performing. How was we gonna handle something like that? We wasn't ready. So we backed out of the opportunity. The group soon fell shortly after that. I had a reality check because the way I felt before it happened Made me feel like if I had gone that night, that it could have been me. Seeing my homeboy in the picture laying in that casket. And I looked on the picture because I was never good with funerals. I mean, I hated the whole idea of seeing people facing the end of their life. I felt like funerals was a cruel reality that this place is not our home. I felt like he didn't need to die at 17 for nothing. So I decided that I would corner this music game and make something of my life for me and for him, because he always wanted to start his own barbershop and be an entrepreneur. And all those who had goals but didn't get a chance to achieve them. I mean, we formed the Jack Boys a couple years later in 2007. Me, Losi, Cito, and the captain. Losi got into some other things which took him a different direction before we could even lay a song with him. So it was just me, Cito, and the captain. We went on to make our first mixtape together called Jackville. Jackville was a hit with our schools, colleges, neighborhoods. Only then the group dropped to two. There was me and the captain. So we started the Replacements. We made what would be the only mixtape that would be released as a group, and it was called The New Problem. Our song Around the Pole reached as far as Memphis, Tennessee, thanks to DJ Kane and some strip clubs, of course. We were well on our way to make it work this time around until I got hit with a crossroad. I had discovered the truth about what was in the music industry, and it was nothing like what I imagined it would be. One morning I heard God call my name in a small, still voice right in my ear. It woke me up. I looked around to see if it was the captain, because we lived together out in Orlando. It was just me and him. But he wasn't home. He was at work. No one else was there at all. And I knew that I was called. And then I knew what that call was. I had to make a choice. If I choose to continue the way I was going, with the evil up ahead, there was no guarantee that I would ever be able to look at myself the same in the mirror. Or if I were to change and use my gift for God's purpose, which was bigger than me, it would be no easier. But I'd be able to sleep at night, happily at least. I was touched, so I began the journey of Kwhel.
What it is to really hanging out with the boys, you know what I'm saying? Young Drew, Jay South, you know how we do, man, in the studio. Yeah, boy, you know how I'm doing. He putting it down, Jay South putting it down, so y'all look out for that. It's real hot. Make sure y'all get that. And you know we all keep it locked with the music, so one love, and we're doing the thing. What it is to really, you know how we doing out here, no more West, Jay South, you know how we do it, got Kwhel here, Capo. For the camera. Capo in the building, 57 West, you already know what it is. You already know, man, it's your boy Jay South represent, bro. Holla at your boy.
Tell me the truth. Torelli. What it do? How you doing? Where you from? I'm asking you where you from.
I'm from Orlando.
Orlando. Anybody else from Orlando? Literally Orlando. All right, that's what's up. SolarTheCity.com. Y'all ready? Make a little bit of noise. We do appreciate y'all staying out here. Just make a little bit of noise. We want to hear some noise. Thumbs like, bruh, bruh. Here we go.
You was came first. Shout out to the Father up in heaven. I'm going home to that, you know what I'm saying? Take a minute, come around, bro. Shout out to all the hoods around America and all around the world.
Make some noise, y'all. Make some noise.
This is an example right here. Shout out to MOL, Jay South, Look at
You know how we do it. Got Creek Fly, Hill Capo.
Pull the DJ back up, damn it.
Yeah, this one a little more up. All I wanna know right now is, who you roll with, you know what I'm saying? Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D. Roll with G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? I changed the game and crossed over, didn't mention that I'm changing lanes and new rovers, and whoever don't like to see it, I brush shoulders. You can pop bottles, okay, I pop soda. My blood so ahead of my time, I look older. I'm rolling with the one that fell down from the straps. Girl, I know every time how she even gave me that. Some like the way I dress, some like the way I rap. Trying to raise me with the rap, I'm sure over that. Really bring it to life, putting Jesus on the map. Cause a lot of y'all church folks forgot how to clap. The old life, bye-bye. You know what you're about, and get me in the days like staring in a tie-dye. Now I'm on the camera, say hello, Sasa.
What you doing? What you doing with your lip? Where your lip at? Oh, you hiding them. Yeah. Say hello. Ooh. Hello, Earth. There we go. Come back to Earth. Trying to attack me, but when I call up blood of Jesus, this attracting me. Don't be an advocate, running with the rich code. Better think twice about your team like Chris Paul. Hit me how to make you jump like Chris Cross. I don't listen to nothing. This is all no explanation. I roll into the wheel spot. On the earth stop spinning in the year stop. I ain't trying to play both sides of the gate. Talk about never be the first one to hate. So yeah, I remember who I let pray for me. And I don't be sitting up in everybody's service. I'm hanging with them and all kind of service. Know who I'm rolling with before it's in the earth. And the shepherd trying to roll on the top like my game. I'm just like a good zone. Ain't nobody with G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D. That's who I roll with. G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D., G.O.D. Who you roll with? G.O.D. That's who I roll with.
Okay, folks. That was the mixtape. Hope you enjoyed it. You know, because that's what I do it for, you know what I'm saying? To get the messages from God through to you and from how I feel personally on a level of my experiences throughout life, you know what I'm saying? So, first and foremost, I would like to thank God for giving me the strength and the help to actually get through and finish this. And I feel it's a big accomplishment because I did this thing, I've done this, as I've always had the mind to, on my own, you know, on my own cause, basically, you know, the production, the, you know, the beats, the songwriting, the editing, the producing, the distribution, all of that. I mean, of course, you always gotta have a team. You always gonna have some help, and shout out to, MOF, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that contribute, you know what I'm saying? Using the Young Drew studio, basically, and also shout out to my homeboy, TV, Tavares, you know what I'm saying? A lot of supporting fans. Shout out to my daughter, that's my number one. Also, I was known as Torelli at first when I went solo. I made Tunnel to the Truth as my first solo mixtape. I picked up some attention and started doing shows, and even received a record deal offer from an indie label in Oklahoma. I hadn't even the slightest idea as to how to market. I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know nothing about promoting my brand properly, but I still managed to make some things move anyway, or at least God did. Then life struck again. I was out on my own. I suffered a pretty tough breakup, and it seemed everything just went downhill from there. I lost my good job. I was losing my place, but even then I still held on to my music and my soul. I still laughed and played. If you didn't know any better, you would have thought life was just going the way I wanted. I fought for as long as I could, but I ended up losing my place anyway. I had nowhere else to go. Everything had to get dumped to the side. I held on what I could into the storage until I just couldn't afford that anymore. It was just me, young Drew, and my friend Elizabeth. We got into an extended stay. It gave us some time to breathe a little deeper, but we weren't out of the hot seat just yet. After all that, man, I decided I had to take a drastic move. I was headed to Clayton County in Georgia to play ball and continue my education in college. I was convinced I shouldn't leave, even when I felt like I was going to, and I ended up staying to fight. And I'm glad I stayed, because my grandfather was on his last days of this world, and it would have tore me inside out not to be here with him on his last days. He would pass on Thanksgiving in 2013. That same year, all this was happening to me. He was very important to me. He's where I got the name Kwhel from. He used to call me that because he was big on giving people nicknames, and he struggled to say my name, so he just said, I'm gonna call you Kwhel. His funeral was so tough for me. I mean, it took everything in me to hold back the tears. I was afraid if I break down, I didn't know where it would take me. I didn't know who I'd be afterwards. It was bittersweet because he lived a long life, in which seems to be a thing of the past these days, and he was 95. But he was such an important part of my life and history. I felt as though a witness of who I am had left a piece of me missing because he was gone. He was a man of God, and he loved his family so much. Even in his transition, he brought the family together to see him leave. Needless to say, things got better, but then it wasn't long before life struck again, and it took me for a blow that would knock me down for 5 years. I've been scammed and left with the crime on me as the suspect, and the bank I was doing business with took the role as the victim. I was placed on probation for 5 years, plus 75 hours of community service. I didn't have the money to fight in trial. The lawyer told me it was $700 a day. I also was led to believe that I could simply lose all that money, plus still lose the case, off of the possible idea that I had knowledge of the scheme with no hard evidence to go. I would go to prison for 3 to 5 years off of that. So I accepted a plea deal, like most people do when they don't feel like they have a choice. It was the beginning of what I thought was a nightmare, but it turned out to be the best thing that could have ever happened to me. I was engaged, but the pressure that the background on my record had on me, and it interfered with my work life, relationship life. Everything began to crumble. I was unable to get work in that field. I was used to making money, and I was unable to provide for my daughters at the time the way that I was used to. Child support was starting to build up. Nothing was left but the jobs no one wants. The ones where you work the most with the least bit of money afterwards, with no guarantees, no benefits, just because what other choice did people have who were deemed criminals or immigrants? So we split. The wedding was called off. I was once again homeless. I had turned to my grandmother for what I knew would be the last time to get on my feet. I used to go to my grandmother's house back and forth to gather myself before I went back out into the world again. Only my grandmother was dealing with her own struggles this time. She had dementia and was under the watch of my auntie. It was what it was meant to be, a temporary situation. But things would take another turn. When my auntie decided that she was going to move out, she had the right to. She was married and was given the authority of the house over to my other auntie. She felt like I had enough time to figure things out with my auntie before her, and she wanted me out shortly after she arrived, no questions asked. This is what happens in Kwhel's life.
You remember our conversation? Remember our conversation? You ready? Somebody tell you got to go with Mary now? Today is the 10th. You already had this conversation. I don't know what conversation your mama had, but me and you already had this conversation, so it's not like it's a surprise. I don't know what y'all talked about it, and it's not important. But I know there's no reason to get ugly and all that when me and you already had the conversation. It's not like it's a surprise.
Yeah.
And I had said that we shouldn't have to have it again. And I feel we have to have it again because the way your mama was acting, which I'm not the bad person, and his family not the bad person. It is your mama, and that's what mamas are supposed to have their children. That's what they do. That's what we all do for our children. And you have been helped because you've been here a few months, and that was plenty of time to do what you need to do. So now it's her turn to step in and help you. Help you find a place. Because, this was temporary, this wasn't permanent. You already know that. Like I said, we already had a conversation that On the 10th, Mary leave. You have to leave. Cause Mary's not gonna. It's not here anymore. Mary left me in charge now. And I'm here to take care of Mama. Mama's not taking care of herself anymore. So y'all can't go to Mama for stuff. Because if Mama was taking care of herself, then we wouldn't be here. If she was able to do that by herself. But she can't. So it's time to go. And that's not because I hate you or I don't love you. It's not personal. It's just, and you're the only one. I also told Jeanette, Mama, you need to go too. So it's not just about you. I told her that before I came in here too. Same thing. That the boys got to go. So I can concentrate, take care of Mom, and do what I need to do. So it's not just you. I even have to find somewhere too. I don't think it's personal because it's not.
Yeah, I had in mind, like I said, jobs and things like that were never a problem to me. You know what I'm saying? That was a piece of cake, but it's different. I never been in no trouble with the law. I never had any of those problems.
Oh, I understand that.
So that's new to me.
Me and you both. So I understand that too. I understand that well.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get caught up in stupid stuff. That what happened to me. What happened to me was stupid. It just unfortunately ruin your name anyway. Even being killed about it. And you're the only one in that predicament. But as long as you got a will, that you'll find a way.
That's right.
You just got to find your way, that's all. Everybody find their way, find their path. Find their passion. Just want to let you know that it's time to pipe up.
All right.